All right, Benji, you ready for your bedtime story?
No, I don't want to hear this.
We got ChatGPT to write it.
Oh, I did.
I don't want to hear it.
But I need to hear it.
I know what it's going to
John.
be about.
John says he's so tired and is going to bed. Also, John, waste 5 minutes getting ChatGPT to write a bedtime story.
The Enchanted Campfire. Eli and Dylan have been best friends since college. They loved exploring the world, finding adventure in the most unexpected places.
Since
One summer evening, they decided to go on a camping trip with John and Benji, two brothers who had a knack for getting in trouble, but always make things exciting.
I really just, I just really thought that I was going to talk about you and Benji being gay.
I'm waiting
The
for
four
it.
friends set up camp deep in the Whispering Woods, a place known for its glowing fireflies and occasional strange noises that no one could ever explain. As night fell, they sat around the campfire, roasting marshmallows and telling old stories, but something was off. The fire crackled in an odd way, and the trees seemed to whisper louder than usual. "Did you hear that?" Benji asked, his eyes darting to the shadows. "Probably just the wind," John said, trying to sound confident. Eli and Dylan exchanged a glance. They weren't so sure. Then out of nowhere, Keegan appeared. Keegan was an old friend of theirs, a wanderer who lived by his own rules. He always had a chill vibes, always had a story to tell, and, well, he always smelled a little funny. "Yo," Keegan said, stepping into the firelight. "You guys feel that? The energy here is wild, man." Benji smirked. "You sure it's not just you?" Keegan ignored him and sat down. "Nah, for real. This force is different. They say at midnight, if the fire is still burning, you can ask it a question and it'll answer." Dylan raised an eyebrow. "A fire that talks? Yeah, okay." But Keegan just grinned and leaned back, staring at the flames. The night deepened, and soon the clock struck midnight. The fire flickered, then flared up in an instant. The flames twisted into shapes, faces,
they gonna
eyes,
ask it?
swirling patterns none of them could explain. "Whoa!" John whispered. A deep voice echoed from the flames.
The truth.
Eli's heart pounded. "Okay, what's the biggest secret of these woods?" The fire twisted again, and suddenly a glowing path appeared through the trees. The friends hesitated, but Keegan just smiled. "Guess we're going on a trip, huh?" They followed the path, their lanterns barely cutting through the darkness, and then they found it. A hidden glade where the stars shone brighter than anywhere else. In the center stood an ancient stone with strange carvings. Dylan brushed off some moss, revealing a single word: friendship. Keegan chuckled. "Guess the woods just wanted to remind us that no adventure's real without the people you share it with." The four friends looked at each other, feeling the magic in the air. Maybe it was the fire, maybe it was just the night. Either way, they knew it was a story they'd never forget. As they made their way back to camp, Keegan stretched and yawned. "All right, I'm gonna stare at the stars for like 3 hours. You guys get some sleep." And with that, the four friends laughed, knowing this wouldn't be their last adventure together. The end.
That was the story.
That really didn't take a turn for the worse.
I guess I'm going to bed now. I got my bedtime story.
This is what I wrote. Create a bedtime story about four friends named Eli, Dylan, John, and Keegan. John and Benji are brothers. Eli and Dylan are friends from college, and Keegan smokes weed.
That's where they got the influence of the chill guy.
Yeah, and he always smelled a little
Smells
funny.
You ready?
Oh,
I'm
I
dying.
hope you're ready for my next one, but I need to.
This one is so funny. John and Eli. A friendship in bad taste. John was a choir teacher at Maplewood High, a job he loved mostly because it gave him an audience. He had a habit of saying things that got him in trouble, not because he meant harm, but because he lacked the one thing every teacher needed: a filter. Eli, on the other hand, has no job, no money, and no patience for John's antics. They had been friends since college, but friend is a strong word. This is perfect. Their relationship was more like an unfortunate carpool arrangement in life, neither willing to drop the other off for good. Is it about to delete it? Oh, I just freaking deleted it.
Oh man.
Want to do it?
Oh, I found it. Go ahead.
Oh no, you finish your
Yeah,
story.
you finish your story.
Because it stops in the middle of it, so I'll just read where it got to. The relationship was more like an unfortunate carpool arrangement in life, neither willing to drop the other off for good. One evening, John and Eli sat at Eli's apartment, A one-bedroom disaster filled with overdue bills and a fridge containing only half a bottle of ketchup and a mysterious yogurt from a bygone era. You know, John said, picking at a hole in Eli's couch. You really should get a job. Or at least pretend to have one. People respect that. Eli glared at him. Oh, you mean like how people respect you after your last parent-teacher conference? John winced. He may have told Miss Anderson that her son's voice had the same effect as a goose getting strangled. In his defense, the kid is terrible. But now half the PTA want him fired. You have to admit, though, John said, honesty is important. No, Eli replied. Paychecks are important. I wouldn't know, but I hear they help. Dude, I think that this perfectly
This is a conversation that
describes-
happens.
I think this is real.
AI
then-
is scary, bro.
And then the last sentence says, John sighed, if it makes you feel better. And that's all I got. I'm really sad. This is the most the most real thing that's ever happened.
That's something that's fucking happened.
I'm
telling
copying
you.
and pasting it in Discord.
You ready? You ready for this one?
30 seconds before you attack.
Nope.
Get ready.
Eli's first date with Dylan Todd.
Oh, God.
Eli stood in front of his mirror, adjusting his shirt for what felt like the 100th time. His heart raced. First dates always made him nervous, but this one felt different. This was Dylan Todd, the guy he had been crushing on for months. They had met in college, sharing late-night study sessions and inside jokes. But it was only recently that Eli had worked up the courage to ask him out. To his surprise and complete relief, Dylan had smiled and said, "I thought you never ask." Now here they are, waiting outside a cozy little cafe downtown. The sun had just set, casting a warm golden glow over the city. Eli tapped his foot, running over conversation topics in his head. Then he saw him. Dylan walked up with his signature easygoing grin, hands in his jacket pockets. "Hey Eli, you nervous or you just trying to tap a hole in the sidewalk?" Eli laughed, shaking off some of the nerves, just making sure gravity still works. Dylan chuckled, "Good. I'd hate for you to float away before the date even starts." They grabbed a table inside, the cafe buzzing with quiet chatter and the scent of fresh coffee. Eli had picked this place because he knew Dylan loved local spots with character, and sure enough, Dylan glanced around, nodding approvingly. "I like this place," Dylan said. "Good choice." Eli tried to play it cool. "Yeah, well, I have great taste." Dylan raised an eyebrow.
What
"Oh,
is
so I
this
guess-"
gay
This
shit?
is so bad.
Dylan raised an eyebrow. "Oh, so I guess that means I'm a great choice too." Eli froze for half a second before catching the teasing look in Dylan's eye. He smirked, obviously. The date flowed effortlessly from there. They talked about their favorite music, and shared embracing college stories, and even debated whether pineapple belonged on pizza. Dylan was passionately against it. Eli, to Dylan's horror, was pro-pineapple. At one point, Dylan reached across the table and playfully stole a fry from Eli's plate. "You're a good time, you know that," he said, popping it into his mouth. Eli felt his face warm. "You're not too bad yourself." As they walked out into the cold night air, Eli felt lighter, happier. Dylan glanced at him and smiled. "You want to do this again?" Dylan asked, shoving his hands in his pockets.
I didn't know where my hands were going.
I don't know how I feel about
Heart
this friend
flip.
fanfic.
He nodded, trying not to sound too eager. "Yeah, I'd really like that." Dylan grinned, "Good, because I was gonna ask you out if you didn't." Eli laughed, and as they stood there under the city lights, he realized something. This was just the beginning of something really, really good.
Is that it?
John's prompt was write a gay fanfic.
No, I said create a story about Eli going on a first date with Dylan Todd.
You wanna hear what I just typed in?
No, but let's hear it.
I just typed in, make me a story of John getting his cheeks beaten by Eli.
And then I know what it says. "I'm here to create fun and engaging stories, but I'll keep things respectful and
Nope.
appropriate."
No, I got a story.
Oh, I wanna...
John getting his cheeks clapped. In parentheses. Literally. Not like that. I'll read it to you.
I'm bad.
John had always been a man of music, but today he was about to experience a different kind of percussion. One that involved Eli's fists in his own face.
Different type of
It started as most of their conflicts did, with John saying something he really shouldn't have. They were sitting on John's ratty old couch eating cereal straight from the box when Eli said dramatically, "Man, I really gotta figure out my life." I need a job, money, something. I actually didn't say anything about you being broke, so I guess ChatGPT just wrote that shit down.
It has like a memory.
It has a memory from the previous thing he typed.
John, with the grace of a man born without a filter, responded, "Yeah, I've been meaning to tell you, if uselessness was a career, you'd be the CEO." Eli stopped mid-chew. Hang on, I'm gotta pick a spell. 1 second.
I was always meant to
Eli stopped mid-chew. Slowly he turned to face John, eyes narrowing. "What did you say?" John, instead of backpedaling like any sane person, doubled down. "I said you're about as employable as a deflated balloon.
Get ready.
You got no skills, no hustle, and honestly, I have no idea how you're still alive." Eli stared at him. A long, tense silence filled the room. Then bam! Eli's fist connected with John's jaw so hard that John briefly saw the Virgin Mary. His head snapped back against the couch cushion, and for a second he forgot what year it was. "You want to run that by me again?" Eli, who would never yell, yelled, shaking his fist like an old-school cartoon character.
All you need to do is
John
touch the
blinked.
area. Got it?
Dazed. Ow.
times
Eli wasn't done. He grabbed a throw pillow and started beating John over the head with it, as if trying to exorcise the stupidity out of him. "You think you're better than me just because you got a job? You can't even go one day without insulting someone. You look like a divorced gym teacher." John tried to raise his hands in defense, but only managed to knock over the cereal box, sending a hailstorm of Cheerios onto the floor. Okay, I get it. You're not that useless." Wrong answer. This shit's boring as hell. Eli tackled him off the couch. They rolled onto the floor, knocking over a lamp in the process. John managed to get a grip on Eli's hoodie, but Eli was fueled by years of pent-up unemployment rage. He shoved John down and smacked him. I'm reading it word for word.
Oh, I
He
believe
shoved
you.
John down and smacked him across the forehead with an empty pizza box. "Stop talking," Eli yelled. "Never," John yelled back. They wrestled like two drunk raccoons until finally they both collapsed, panting. After a long pause, Eli wiped sweat off his forehead. "You deserved that." John groaned, rubbing his bruised face. "Yeah, probably." Another pause. "You still broke?" John asked. "Still broke." "You want to get some food?" Eli shrugged. "You're paying." John sighed. "Fine." And just like that, the fight was over. Because their friendship, like John's sense of self-preservation, made absolutely no sense. The end.
All right, here's the story. You ready?
My game
Katie
is
Barnes and her obsession with Dylan Todd.
crashed. Oh, God.
Dylan Todd had a problem, a big one. Her name was Katie Barnes. They had dated for a few months in college, but it became pretty clear that
Okay,
Katie
pause.
wasn't just.
Hang on, pause. Okay, Eli, you said that you couldn't get it, or John, you said you couldn't get it to write, like, risque stuff? I just typed in, "Write me a mommy fanfic," and it responded, "Do you want something funny or spicy?" I typed in spicy, and it said, "Here's a mommy-dommy fanfic with all the teasing intention you could ever want." So you're wrong.
No, Eli's
No, I guess it won't do porn, but it'll do.
Oh, this might be close enough.
Well, I said create a story about Eli giving head to Dylan Todd, and it said, "I'm here to create funny and engaging stories, but I'll keep things respectful and appropriate."
The last sentence in this mommy-dommy fanfic is "good boy."